Okay, so we are going to learn how to divide with fractions. So one of the things that really helps when we start to look at dividing with fractions is to understand what we're really doing when we divide something. So for example, if I took the problem 24 divided by 8, okay, what I'm really asking is how many 8s go into 24, right? How many groups of 8 can I put into 24? And in this case, we know that the answer is 3. So I can put 3 8s into 24. So if we think about that while doing a division problem with fractions, okay, let's do 3, 1, 2, 3, divided by 1/8. So now we're asking the question, how many eighths, 1/8, go into 3? So if we were to break each of these wholes, each of these ones, into eighths, so let's do that here as best as we can. Oops. So you can see here that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 eighths, and that's in one whole. That's 16 eighths in two wholes. And 8 more, that would make 24 eighths in 3 wholes. So the answer to 3 divided by 1/8, as confusing or weird as it may seem, is actually 24, because there are 24 1/8 in 3. So let's take a look at how we can do that. So the easiest thing, if you understand that this is what we're saying when we're dividing, is to actually multiply. So when you have a division problem, for example, let's do that same one, 3 divided by 1/8. The easiest thing that we can do is actually multiply by the reciprocal of this fraction. Okay, so the reciprocal is just the opposite of this fraction. So that's if we take the denominator and make it the numerator, and we take the numerator and make it the denominator. So that would be, instead of 1/8, the reciprocal would be 8/1. So our trick to dividing with fractions is actually to multiply by the reciprocal. Like I said, the pen is not working very well, so I apologize for that. So multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of 3 divided by 1/8, we're going to take 3 and multiply by 8/1. So we can add this here. 3 times 8 equals 24, and 1 times 1 equals 1. 24/1 equals 24. So you'll notice that's the same answer that we had before. So let's do a little practice looking at reciprocals. So if I had the fraction 2/3, the reciprocal would just be the denominator now becomes the numerator becomes the denominator. So the reciprocal, not even going to try writing it, the reciprocal would be 3/2. Likewise, if we wanted to find the reciprocal of 2/5, we switch the numerator and denominator, so the reciprocal would be 5/2. So if we had a problem such as 4 divided by 3/5, instead of dividing by 3/5, we're going to keep this number on the left the same, so it'll stay as a 4, but we are going to find the reciprocal of 3/5 and multiply by that. So this will become 4 times the reciprocal of 3/5, which is 5/3. So now 4 times 5 equals 20, and 1 times 3 equals 3. And then our last step is just to divide. 20 divided by 3. 3 goes into 20 6 times, that's 18. So we are left with 2/3. So 4 divided by 3/5 equals 6 2/3. Let's do another one. This time let's do a fraction. So let's say 3 3/8 divided by 1/4. So again, in order to divide fractions, we're going to leave this fraction on the left the same. We're going to change 1/4 to its reciprocal, which is 4/1. And instead of dividing, we will multiply. So 3/8 times 4/1. And I notice that I can simplify. This 8 and the 4 can both be divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 and 4 divided by 4. So 4 divided by 4, which will be 1, and 8 divided by 4, which will be 2. So now we have 3 times 1 equals 3. 2 times 1 equals 2. Last step is to divide. 2 goes into 3 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So the answer here to 3/8 divided by 1/4 would be 1 1/2. So I know that sometimes it can be confusing when we take a number and divide it by something and it actually gets bigger. So if we go back to that original problem of 3 divided by 1/8, right? It seems strange that 3 divided by 1/8 becomes 24, because usually when we divide something, the answer is smaller. But again, we're not, right? We're not taking 3 and breaking it up into 8 groups. We're not saying how many 8s go into 3, but instead we're saying how many 8ths, 1/8 go into 3. And that is why our answer of 24 is bigger. And again, what we're really doing, the easy way to divide a fraction is to multiply it by the reciprocal instead. So that is how you divide fractions.